2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Teaching Crypto, and welcome to another edition of Crypto Headlines with MrFOMO. Now, I know I've been MIA this week from the show, but it wasn't because I was crashing the gates at SBF's Palo Alto home, or his parents' Palo Alto home anyway. It definitely wasn't me. I have had some plumbing issues and some water damage in the house. I'm dealing with insurance and contractors and all kinds of stuff. It's been kind of a headache. But I'm back on the show, and I definitely wasn't one that crashed the gates. But I do understand the sentiment behind it. What I will say is don't do stuff like this. It's not worth you ending up in jail over this idiot and the things that he's done. I know that a lot of us want to hurt people like this. I certainly would. I would certainly love to get my hands on people like Stephen Ehrlich right now, but that's not going to help out anybody. We'll let the long arm of the law eventually catch up to these people and make sure that they pay the price as much as they can. But speaking of SBF and FTX, FTX had nearly 700 million worth of assets that were taken back. Now, we talked about this earlier. SBF wanted control of those Robinhood shares to pay for his legal issues, shall we say. But it looks like that's not going to happen. They've gotten about 698 million. Now, a lot of that was the Robinhood shares. More than we reported before is about 526 million of Robinhood shares. And then the rest was USD from various banks around the country. So the US is taking possession of a lot of these assets, like we said, and that is good for creditors, as good as it can be. This bankruptcy process is not going to go well for anybody. In other news, U.S. charges crypto exchange Bitslotto, or I never heard of it before. They were charged with laundering, but they've laundered almost as much as the U.S. Justice Department has gotten back from Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, about 700 million again. Now, they were laundering this money for illicit Russian finance. Now, that's short for saying that these were Russian groups that are either committing crimes, or these are people who are not supposed to be able to move their money through any other systems because of, sanctions or whatever have been filed against them against the US. So it doesn't look good. And they also arrested the founder of this company. It looks like some people are going to be in some big trouble for helping out the Russians. Now, I want to switch and talk about some tokens that are good buys, maybe not necessarily now because they've been moving, but Ethereum. And one of the reasons why we like to mention this as something you might want to hold in your portfolio is because the upgrade EIP 1559 and how that turned Ethereum deflationary. And so since that upgrade, there have been $4.6 billion worth of Ethereum that has burned. Now, I know you see this picture here and you see this headline and you think, why is it burned? Why is that bad? That's not necessary, or that's not a bad thing at all. I know what it looks like. It's sort of provocative, but just ignore all that stuff. It's a great thing for a token to be deflationary. It's what we wish our fiat currency was, because anytime your token is deflationary, anybody who's holding that as an investor is going to see the value of it go up, especially when it's burned. So, take these headlines and these pictures for what they are. It may look bad to the untrained eye, but what we're dealing with is a token that's going to go up in value for investors. So not financial advice, but it might be one you want to look into. Additionally, this week, we saw a lot of movement, especially in the top 20, but all across the board, there were a lot of great movers this week. The market was mostly in the green. And one that we saw rise along with Ethereum was Solana. And the reason Solana rose is because it's rebounding from its fall triggered by FTX. And that's why we tell you don't sleep on some of these good projects when they fall. When they fall, when they have the bad news show up in in the news cycle or in the markets, that's when it's time for you to take out your wallet and possibly DCA on these projects. Because now, as we saw it fall because of the FTX collapse, we're also seeing it rise again because of the strength of the project. So when these projects fall, and a lot of them will for various reasons, it's important that you pay attention if you've done your homework and you know when to jump in. And that's why we do this final bit, the top movers in the top 100. And so let's just refresh right here. Let's see, in the last 24 hours, Aptos, Optimism, ApeCoin, OKB, Decentraland, and the Sandbox all moving. 36% for Aptos, 17 for Optimism, 15 for ApeCoin, 14, 11, and 11 for the rest of the bottom of that list. That is great movement in the crypto market, and that's why you invest in the crypto market, because you can see that kind of volatility to the upside. Now, the ones you probably don't want to sleep on or may want to take a look at because they've fallen so hard, especially you want to do your homework to make sure they're not bad projects. But you've got ones like FractShare, Rocket Pool, and then you've got some, stable coins that are also in there. But look into these tokens to make sure that you're not missing an opportunity that could pay off in the long run. On the 7-day, biggest movers again, Aptos, FractShare, which we saw falling, HBAR, which is AZ Crypto, one of his favorites, Optimism, Kava, Convex Finance, all moving in the last 7 days big time, as much as almost 70% for Aptos in the last 7 days. So if you're into some of these projects, you might want to consider taking aggressive profits. Remember, people who take profits don't go broke. Over the last 7 days, biggest fallers, Huobi, and that was just purchased by Justin's son. So we'll see that was purchased by Justin's son. So we'll see how that goes down. But it looks like that's falling along with Tron, which was down earlier in the week. So pay attention to those, because those are projects that maybe aren't great, but because of his, marketing ability, they may come back. You've got GMX, Axie Infinity, which has fallen over the last 7 days, but up over the last day. Compound, same kind of thing, Bitcoin SV and BitDAO. So pay attention to some of these projects, see if you can make a little bit of money, and we'll see you next time on Teaching Crypto. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share these videos, and comment below and let us know what tokens you would like us to review, and we'll get on that for you. Talk to you next time.